On today's video, we're going to talk about the top 5 automations that I get requested by my clients after 750 CRM builds. This is the top 5 list. So number 1, most commonly requested, they want to do an email drip campaign. So you can do it 2 different ways in Pipedrive. You can either do an email drip campaign inside of the automations. So that's this little robot looking fella right here. I can go in here, I could build out a custom automation, and I could begin and say exactly and build this out. That's number 1. The other way is in Pipedrive sequences. So in the pulse, in the sequences, you can create a sequence to do the emails. The 2 differences between the 2 is that once they start a pulse sequence, there is no stopping it. It's going forward. If you put 10 emails 1 per week for 10 weeks, there is no stopping it. If you do the automations the old-fashioned way in the original Pipedrive automations here, you have the ability to say, if the client moves out of this nurture the client phase, I want them to, or the deal moves out of there to follow-up set or meeting scheduled, I want the email drip campaign to stop. That can be done because this is a much more difficult level of building it out than the sequences in the pulse. I have another video on how to build those sections out inside of the pulse, and I also have another video in detail on how to build out the automations inside of here on how to do that. There's also some great templates. So let's take a look. You've got the email template. So if I want to do an email-based follow-up whenever an email has gone out to one person. So you can send it whenever a new deal comes in. You can create a new pipeline and an activity that gets created. So there's quite a good amount of these templates that are here that are built that haven't been built out. Number 2, I get requested often is how do people build out a round robin? So how do I take it so that when a new lead comes in, so let's reset our board, okay? Reset all our deals. Perhaps all of our leads came in the middle of the night or after we closed the shop the day before. And here we go, we come in, we've got 6 new leads sitting here. Well, how do I round robin them between my team? There's quite a few amount of ways. There's actually, the sky is the limit. So that menu here in Pipedrive is the automatic assignments menu. You're going to come in here and you're going to start to build out a rule. So I'm going to come here, I'm going to build out a rule. I'm going to say, first of all, that it's going to be based on a deal. Remember, the Pipedrive is the quarterback on the team, and on our team, we have the JV team, the leads, and then we have the varsity team. So we're dealing with the varsity team, and we're going to make that this rule is when a new deal is added. Great. Just like I said, a new deal comes in from our integration we already have set with our website form. Our new leads come in and they're created. Maybe we want to do it based on the organization's address. So say we have a sales rep that handles California, Oregon, Washington, the whole West Coast. Okay. Well, if we took the address, we could break the address into the regions in the micro sections. So we would take the organization state is California. Then we'd add another condition. We'd add a or condition. There we go. Or the address state is, okay? So we could go and continue, and I could assign that to whoever on either a team or a singular user. So if you have a higher level of Pipedrive, you have many people in there, and you have it built out in teams, you could go in an order and assign it to a team as well. For the most regular user, for 95% of you watching this video, a standard assigning it to a standard user on your team will assign whoever's in the leads that you can create. Okay, now, what about another rule? What if we did it another way? What if we did it based on the phone number contained maybe a certain country code, like +54. I did a client a few times that have asked for country codes. Certain country codes are assigned to certain people, or certain area codes are assigned to certain sales reps. So there's a lot you can do with the round robin rule. Next on the top 5 list, Slack or team communications. So how do you send out maybe a Microsoft Teams or a Slack message? We're going to go back to that robot automations, back to the standard Pipedrive. We've got some Slack. We've got some standard templates that Pipedrive's built out. We could go with Slack here. We could notify a team member of lost deals, celebrate a won deal, celebrate particular stage moves. So when we go into create one manually, we could create one. Let's do a automation based on a deal has been updated. And that deal, what was updated? Well, the stage has changed to, I get my drop down, and I'm going to go with nurture the client. So whenever the stage has changed to nurture the client, I could choose my whole team, any user. I would give it a good name, good habit, right? This is great. Okay, good habits. Always name them. Sometimes always label them. But add a label on your automations. Clean house, folks. Okay, so the deal stage has changed to nurture the client. I got the trigger. I'm ready to go. Now I can do an action. I got lots of actions I can do. I could send a Microsoft Teams message if I integrated my Teams channel. I could create a sequence. So when I talked about that way of doing those sequences earlier on the beginning, on the first step of sending out an email drip campaign, I could build it into sequences. I could send out a Slack message. I could create a board on Trello. I could send out a webhook and externally do things outside of Zapier or inside of Zapier or Make.com. I could do lots of stuff. So the sky is the limit. You can do lots here. But the standard stuff that I hear a lot is a Slack message. You could send it out on a channel or you could send it out as a DM. Next up on the top 5 list, number 4. How do I do an automatic creation of follow-ups when a new lead is created? So whenever a new lead comes in, so back to our deal dashboard, where remember, we spend 95% of our time here on the deal dashboard. Any one of these new leads comes in, how do I create a follow-up activity to maybe vet this new client or maybe get more information about Cosmo Kramer and Kramerica or George and then his position at the New York Yankees as the traveling secretary? Whatever you need to do, you can add an automatic follow-up sequence. So again, you have 2 ways. You could do it inside of the Pulse, so you could create the sequence and you could create one from scratch. JV, varsity, right? We could do on the varsity team on deals. We could say, let's do, whenever we add a deal to a sequence, we want to create an activity that says make initial phone call. Okay? The item's owner, and then we could put in notes if we want to. Again, the notes are only visible within Pipedrive, not to any meeting guests, and there isn't any meeting guests on this because it's just an internal activity. Save. So one single activity, well, again, good habits, name it. We'll do okay. Now, so singular item. One singular follow-up task whenever a deal is added to a sequence. So I could now go back around. I could manually add the deal to the sequence here, selecting it, and that adds it right to it. Make that initial phone call, schedules it with me. Or I could automate it and, I guess, tie the two together. So I could go into the automations. I could say, whenever a new deal is added, I want to, and we make sure it's in that stage, okay? It's in the pipeline stage is, and we're going to select our new lead in the demo pipeline. Very precise, right? New deal added, but it's only in that stage. I have multiple pipelines here, okay? I want to trigger from any user, and what do I want to do for my action? I want to add it to a sequence. So I'm going to add that deal to that first sequence. The deal that I'm going to do is in step 1. Step 1, see, is the targeted deal. And I'm going to add it to the top 5 tutorial. Just like that, easy. So I tied the two together. Now I have the ability to add a lot more to that sequence without having to come here to the more difficult portion and what would be considered more nerdier way of doing this that you have to build out. I turn it on, I make it active, and I go. Last but not least on the top 5 list, how do I do automatic stage updates based on conditions that change? So perhaps I want to move a stage automatically, maybe if Cosmo Kramer schedules a meeting. So if Cosmo comes in and he schedules a meeting, how do I do that? Well, that's tying two things together. So if we go to our scheduler, okay, and I go to my activities, and I go to my meeting scheduler, I have one meeting schedule here called One-on-One Convo with Ethan. Hello. Okay, if I go through the details of this, I see the meeting name. This is important because that's going to be the subject title of the activity. So if I take this and I say basically anytime Pipedrive sees a new activity created with this subject line, I want you to find the deal and move that person. You can do that by creating the filter that targets it inside and the activities, and then moving that deal to that stage in the same way we built out here, except instead of our activity of adding it to a sequence, we are updating that deal's fields. And we are changing. What are we going to update? Here's all the different stuff we could update. All my custom fields. I just want to change the stage. I'm going to update the stage on my target deal, step 1. Remember, step 1, target. I'm going to update the stage to meeting scheduled. So that right there saves that automation so that whenever somebody schedules that activity, it will move it automatically. If you got any questions, feel free to email me. Feel free to comment on the YouTube page. Thanks again for watching my videos.